It's funny how sometimes, even when we understand something logically, we understand it theoretically, we still get caught up with the outside. Now, that is exactly what happened with me this past month. I felt really stuck. And as I reflected on to why do I feel that way, a conversation with a friend made me realize something in a way that I hadn't realized before. So, I realized that we often tend to put our desired reality on a pedestal. Even if we believe in it totally, we tend to put it on a pedestal. There is this unspoken feeling that it is something to reach that's not ours, right? And I realized that once we change that perspective, it changes everything. Because more often than not, we are conditioned to believe that the things that we want are separate from us. We put them on a pedestal. We tell ourselves that we will be happy, that we will feel fulfilled once we receive those things, our desired reality. But when we see them as something separate, something to reach, we are telling ourselves, you are telling yourself that you don't have it yet. And the more you tell yourself that, the more real it becomes. Think about how we treat things we already have. You literally take them for granted. You take them for granted. Do you ever wake up worrying about whether you will have enough oxygen to breathe or whether the sun will come up the next day? No, because you just know that it's going to happen. It is bound to happen. You take it for granted, not in a careless way, but in a way that it is unquestionable. And that is what you need to do with your desired reality. Take it for granted, as if it is a part of your reality. But feel it so strongly that instead of seeing it as something out of your reach, see it as something which is very inevitable. Our brain is always looking for confirmation bias, which is that we are wired to move towards what feels similar, right? And what we accept as real. The subconscious mind does not respond to what you think you want, rather, it responds to what you accept as real. When you feel it's so sorted, that is real. When something feels normal to us, we naturally act in a ways that it is aligned with it. And that is why people who see themselves as successful tend to make aligned decisions that make them more successful. And people who believe that they are unlucky tend to find themselves in situations which confirm that, again, confirmation bias. You're always looking out for patterns and things to confirm your belief. In quantum physics, there is this theory called Copenhagen interpretation, which posits that the act of measurement or observation determines the state of quantum system. Now, while this does not directly state that human consciousness is responsible, however, it implies that the reality we experience depends on the way we engage with it, right? So, essentially, how we choose to observe it. So, in a more metaphysical sense, our consciousness is a tool, is a measurement tool that shapes our world, the world that we experience. Now, my point of telling you all this is so that it sits in your brain as to why normalizing your desired reality, why even taking it for granted, often brings it closer and makes it more real for you. And by the way, let me know your insights from this video in the comments below. I would love to hear the perspective that resonates with you. And now, coming to the part where we talk and understand how do we apply this practically, right? So, now for the main part. Step number 1, which is detach from wanting and shift towards having. As always, detachment. Now, instead of constantly telling yourself that I want this, shift to this is already mine. Not in a way that it is desperate or delusional, because again, your brain would not register that, but in a way that feels natural. The more familiar something feels, the more your brain aligns with it. So, the reticular activating system, RAS, which is a networking system in the brain, filters out information based on what we believe to be important, right? Now, if you keep affirming that you want something, your brain registers that as lack, because you're telling you don't have it, you want it, right? Now, reinforcing a state of wanting, you are showing lack. So rather reaffirm a state of having. Now, that affirmation will come into the existence of your reality. Your RAS will filter out opportunities that align with that belief. In chapter 7, verse 3 of Bhagavad Gita, it is written that a person is made up of their faith. Whatever one's faith is, that indeed they are. What it necessarily means is that what you deeply believe shapes your reality. When you stop seeing your desires as something distant, something far away, and start embodying the energy of already having them, your external world will start to shift accordingly. It's not something huge or something so out of reach that you can't do it. And if you cannot do anything huge to build that mindset, start with small. Even with the smallest of the alignment with your desired reality, identify that, recognize that, acknowledge that, and that will be reinforced in your brain. Now, number 2, normalize the feeling of already having it. If something is already yours, you would not obsess when or how, I'll say it again, when or how it is going to come. You would just know, the same way that you don't wake up questioning whether you will be able to breathe today. The law of vibration, one of the universal law, states that everything in the universe is in vibration, is at a certain frequency, including our thoughts, our emotions, our desired reality, everything. The more you fixate on wanting, the more you are vibrating at a frequency of not having, frequency of lack. But when you normalize something, you align with its frequency, making it a natural part of your experience. The more you mentally condition yourself to feel as though you already have it, the more your mind and body move in that alignment. And now, number 3, live as if it is already yours. Now, important point to notice here is that it does not mean pretending, right? Or forcing anything. It means aligning your small everyday decisions with the reality you want to step into. This follows the laws of cause and effect. Now understand this. Your current reality is the effect of the cause. The cause is your past thoughts and actions. To change your reality, you must change the cause, not the effect. And the cause is the way you think, the way you act, and how you feel emotionally invested in the present moment. In chapter 6, verse 5 of Bhagavad Gita, it is written that one must elevate oneself through the power of might and not degrade oneself, because the mind is a friend to the self but also its enemy if uncontrolled. This highly emphasizes that your mind shapes your reality. If you will not utilize it in a way that it feels like it is your friend, it is going to become your enemy, your worst enemy possible, your own brain. So, while this emphasizes on that mind shapes your reality, ask yourself in each situation, how would the version of me who is already having this reality that I so desire would act and respond? Take small aligned actions. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, start integrating behaviors that align with your desired reality now. Put off your desired reality from that pedestal and bring it to now, because there is nowhere that you have to reach. It all starts now. And when you shift from wanting to having, by normalizing and feeling that you already have it and live in that alignment with that reality, you stop chasing and starts attracting. And this is what it means to not chase and attract. And this is not about blind faith. No, it's about understanding how your consciousness shapes your reality at a very, very fundamental level. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, all are interconnected. And when they align, reality has no choice but to follow. To say that don't chase but attract does not mean you sit home and do nothing about it. It means to take aligned actions, and aligned actions come from aligned mindset. And if you want to learn how to become mentally strong, you can check out my previous video as well. And with that, I will see you in the next video.